Oh, no, not the one that got... they think he's the welder that was found dead after the Depression. One of the guys that was dead, not the one that got in the hall.
Oh.
The guys that were dead laying on the floor. Because
okay.
John Henry was one of those guys. And he also liked the ladies and did not want men around. Women report that he also will stroke their hair.
No!
Brush their cheeks with his hand.
Ghost hands to yourself.
And even pinches their bums.
Nope!
Not consenting, John. Not consenting.
Keep those pinching fingers to yourself.
Yep. And men that have gone into the green room are shoved and tugged until they leave. Like, he will, like, shove them out the door. He doesn't want them there.
Especially if there's a woman in there.
Yeah, he wants to be alone with her. Ew.
Ew.
Creep.
Nope.
No, John. Both Johns, stay away. So in the green room, there's a square hole in the ceiling. And people have seen green eyes, glowing eyes staring back at them. And some have even seen his face looking down. Like, they've seen like, they asked, is this who you saw? And they're like, yeah, that's his face, looking down at them from this hole in the ceiling.
Yuck!
Yeah.
This is the pinchy guy?
Pinchy guy.
No.
Pinchy John Henry. Another person is the dude. They don't know his name or who he is. The Planet Paranormal named him the dude because they didn't know what else to call him, I guess. Generic.
Yeah.
He is seen in a top hat and tails. Other people have seen him too.
Fancy.
It's not just them. Yeah, he is very fancy. He appears in the Sir Winston's restaurant, which is named Winston Churchill. It's the fancy restaurant.
Looks like the Peanut guy, Mr.
Probably,
Peanut,
yeah.
with his little monocle and his top hat and his cane.
He likes to be by the bar. He'll approach guests from behind and clears his throat, and then poof, he's gone.
Oh, that's kind of creepy too.
Yeah, he's also seen watching from like the back of the room. Watching guests having fun, and he'll have a slight smile, and he just appears to be admiring like their fun and having a good time. And if someone tries to approach or walk near him, he disappears. He doesn't seem to be menacing or anything, even though like clearing the throat is kind of creepy. But and then there's one they call the woman in the bathing suit because she's in a bathing suit.
That makes sense.
She's pretty. She's in her late 20s.
They call her the woman in the bathing suit because she's seen walking around in an evening dress.
Yes. She's pretty in her late 20s and wears a 1930s style bathing suit. So they're thinking around then is maybe when she drowned. They don't know who her name is. And no one's ever interacted with her other than seeing her. She's seen in the upper and lower levels of the first class pool and has left wet footprints behind.
Oh, that's creepy.
Now, when they did ghost tours, because that was a thing that people saw before, they started leaving their fake wet footprints just to scare the people. But it really has happened to people when they stopped doing that. It still kept on happening. So not every time someone saw him but it did happen at some occasions.
That's terrifying.
Yeah. There's also a boy named Daniel. He's 5 or 6 years old. They call him the boy in blue. He's wearing an Edwardian style clothes, that distinct blue, you know, that blue and the little ruffly neck.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about, that little boys wore? Which was not, it was like from the 1914 time. So they're thinking he must be like a poor immigrant, and they're just reusing clothes that they had. They couldn't buy new stuff. And he wanders the promenade deck looking for his parents.
Oh,
I want to pick him up and hug him. Oh. He's only 5 or 6.
I bet he's adorable.
The next 2 littles on the boat are Dana, who's 4, and Penny, who's 2. They're sisters. Peter James interacted with them. They were murdered by their father in the room B474 in 1959 on the ship.
Oh my God.
The father apparently had some mental health stuff going on. He was depressed and distraught, and they're not sure what he was upset about. But he strangled his wife and 2 daughters and then shot himself.
Oh my God.
The little girls can be seen and heard on deck B, and they're playing and having fun with each other. And then they also be heard calling for their mother.
Oh God.
It's so sad.
That breaks my
Poor little
heart.
girls. 4 and 2. The next one is Fedora Dude, because they really are, that Planet Paranormal, I'm sorry, you need to come up with better names for the ghosts.
The Fedora Dude.
Apparently he's the most disturbing figure of them all.
Oh, great.
He wears a yellow zoot suit and a bright yellow fedora.
I call him Yellow Zoot Suit guy.
I know, right? He's tall with rotting teeth.
Oh.
Yeah. And dark hollow yellow eyes. Or no, hollow yellow eyes. God, I can't read. He's seen near the lobby and smirks as people pass. And he'll pass real close to you, then move quickly up the hallway. He'll turn around and smile, then disappear. Smile like
that's terrifying.
smirking,
oh
like
my
creepy.
God. No thanks.
And a lot of people, when they see him, they feel real uneasy. They don't like it. No, I'm like, I'm sorry. I wouldn't want to hear the tickling in my ear. If you're not going to touch me, I'm okay. You go away. Don't tickle in my ear.
You can leer at me from across the room. Yeah. That's fine. Just don't be touching my hair.
Like I said, there's a lot of ghosts on this ship. That's why there's so many investigations, because there's so many ghosts on this ship that people see over and over again.
It had so many people on it.
Yeah. I'll tell you, there was like millions of people had been on this ship. David and Sarah are a couple that frequent Sir Winchester's too. And the first class pool, again, lots of first class pool happenings. They seem to be looking for their children, but no one knows who their children are. But there's a lot of kids on that ship, so I'm wondering if they just don't find each other or whatever, for whatever reason. They're always together, and they will answer questions if you use their names. I don't know why. If anyone's never said, "Hey, who's your kids?" Maybe we can help find you. I don't know. Winston Churchill's ghost.
Ooh.
And now they think that this is more of his energy that's left behind, not necessarily the ghost of Winston Churchill. When I said about how leaving that footprint behind of your energy. Mm-hmm. So he traveled, like I said, on the Queen Mary during the war as Colonel Warden.
His energy was probably pretty crazy.
Yeah.
You'd think.
He worked from his suite on the M deck, and he actually had an office near the promenade in World War II. And like I said, he signed the D-Day papers there. And that desk is still in his suite. And he talked about after, like, the war, how hard it was to sign those orders because he knew men were going to die. And he knew that if it didn't work, that the war would continue and be worse. But if it did, it could put an end to it much quicker. So he really struggled with that. And there's probably a lot of motion during that time of him, like, pacing and worrying and stuff. So, signing that left that energy imprint. Like, what he was feeling there left that energy imprint is what they're thinking happened there. So you can smell cigar smoke in his suite. There's no smoking on the ship, so there's no reason to smell cigar smoke.
Right.
And you can hear noises of someone, like, pacing and worried mumbling. So they're thinking, like, that time where he talked about often afterwards how hard that was for him. So, like, maybe he's just left that energy in that room. It's kind of fascinating, really. This is one of my favorite ones. His name is Captain Jack Treasure Jones. How cool is your name, dude?
For sure.
He had a life on the sea. Like, he, from when a young age, started out on the sea. He made it to staff captain on the Queen Mary in 1954. And then was actually the captain of her last cruise that brought her to dock at Long Beach. He didn't die on the ship. He actually passed away at 88 years old in 1993. After 43 years at sea, he worked up. His last ever job was the Queen Mary, bringing her to dock. Like, she retired, and so did he. He said he could never. It was the only time he officially captained her alone, solo. Like, he was the captain, and he said, I could never step foot on another ship after her. She was the best thing you could ever be on. How could you go down from that?
Aww.
There's a video of him too that I watched, and he was so cool. And his daughter talked about what like amazing honor he felt, and like how connected he was to the ship, and that, you know, he had a very emotional attachment to her. But like I said, he had that connection, so he can be seen and heard all over the ship. You can see him because there's pictures of him, and there's video of him talking about it, like the ship. So,
I apologize if anybody hears me yawning. I drank this whiskey sour, and now I'm yawning like every 3 minutes. I have to yawn. I'm like, oh my god,
I'm really boring her.
I'm not. It's awesome, but sorry.
So he's seen on the bridge, in the wheelhouse, like he's up there being the captain, port side. And when you look at him, if you see him and look away and look back, he'll be gone. He's been seen resting in the small living room in the office area, and softly humming in the officer's bedroom. He's always in uniform, and he loved his cigars. And when he's around, he appears, you smell cigar. And he's always, like I said, he's always wearing his uniform. I don't know, there was something I thought he was really cool, and especially because I watched that video. He just seemed like a really cool guy. So I'll link that too.
It gives you that connection to an actual person too, you know.
These are kind of scary things. Okay, the shadow people that are seen, they're seen everywhere at all hours, all over the ship.
Nope.
Some are tall and thin, some are short and fat, some appear smoky, others look like oil on water, some have a shimmering aura. People see them down hallways staring at them and then vanish or walk into walls. They leave people with a feeling of foreboding that they cannot shake. So you don't want to see the shadow people. And they're everywhere on that ship.
That sounds
apparently.
awful.
Balls of light can be seen, and then we're not talking about orbs and pictures, we're talking about ones you can see with your eye that have density, like they have depth to them. They can be from the size of a grape to a softball. They're blue in color and all over the ship. They produce their own light, but they're mainly found near the cargo hold, near the front of the ship. And they zoom around. Sometimes they'll zoom around the cargo room. Other times they're at the ceiling, like a star almost. And some people have thought maybe they're the spirits of the people on the HMS Caraco that died. They're kind of still floating around there like balls of light.
That's crazy.
Yeah. And Blue Caraco is blue. Caraco, is it named after?
Ooh, maybe.
The blue balls on the ship?
I don't know.
I don't know either. So we're going to talk about some hot spots on the ship where you're going to see some action. If you want to see ghosts.
All right.
The B deck. The B deck had murders. It had fatal accidents. It had the isolation ward where they took you if you had any kind of disease. They had the morgue for World War II was on that deck. Now the entire ship is haunted. There's stuff everywhere, but there's some spots that just have extra stuff, And then you have the isolation ward. That's where passengers that had contagious disease were kept. Any stowaways or anyone seemed dangerous would be stuck in there. So there's some energy in there that's not great. The Royal Theatre, which was a second-class pool. You can hear sounds of music and shadows in that area. Sometimes you see spirits sitting in the audience of the Royal Theatre.
Yikes.
Jackie likes to go there. She drowned in that area. And she can be heard greeting people when they walk in. She'll say hello to the people. There's a spectral cat that hangs out there.
That's cool.
Captain John, or whatever, Treasure Jones. The lady in white will be there and heard there and seen. And probably because Jackie's there.
Yeah.
And then even Grumpy's been over in that area.
I want my cat to come back and haunt me.
I know, right? The engine room and door 13 right near each other. Obviously, there's 2 deaths down there. Balls of light were seen down there. Shadows are seen moving around the machinery. And then it's such a confined, really hot, deep place. It just gives you a weird, bad feeling anyway. I can feel that I can't even imagine being down there. That makes me want to puke. Knowing you're 50 feet below waterline, no thank you. No thank you. I can't do that.
No way.
So the propeller box. This is where we're going to talk about how she became never to be sailing again. So when the LBC purchased, Long Beach, California, that's what I call it, purchased the Queen Mary, like I said, the contract said she could never sail again. So they removed 3 of her 4 propellers. The 4th one was encased in a watertight box for viewing. And then a walkway was made so people could walk and see the massiveness of this propeller through the ship. But to do that, they had to put 2 giant holes in her hull, so she could never be seaworthy again.
How was she in the water then? If she's
because it's up high enough where it's not on the waterline, but if she went out to sea, you're gonna take on water.
Right.
She's in a port right now. LBC, there's a port. It's very calm right there, so she's not gonna take on any water there. And this is where you're gonna see Captain Jones there a lot. And he seems to be worried when he's down there. And yeah, there's 2 giant holes in the ship. Of course, the captain's worried. So
his beautiful ship.
I know. He's like, "What the fuck, guys? Why are we still floating? What's going on?" Of course he's worried. And you'll smell cigar in there because he likes to go down there and check the propeller that's just floating in a watertight box and holes in the side. Now, the biggest hot spot in the whole place, you probably will guess, is the first class pool.
Yeah.
And it's said to be a vortex that allowed spirits to pass through. They felt that energy, that there's a vortex in this area. Specifically in the changing room, a narrow aisle between the cabinet, a changing cabinet, and 3 stalls back from the port side. If you stand in that spot, the hair on the back of your neck and arms are going to raise. Your skin will feel like it's crawling, and you'll get dizzy. There's so much energy right there in that spot, like electric energy, because that's like spirit.
My hair's standing up now.
Just knowing that, right?
Yeah.
You're going to feel, there's a feeling in that area of being watched, and you want to run away. Like, you feel this feeling of running, like that adrenaline rush hits you. People have heard whispers of little girls. They've been in the pool swimming when the pool had water in it. When it was, the hotel used to have